Last year, 30 people were killed and more than 3,000 injured as a result of cooking fires in the home. Little wonder that many of us choose to protect our homes and loved ones by having safety equipment like these fire blankets close at hand. They should provide us with peace of mind, but these are no comfort blankets. They're on sale, they're untested and make fake safety claims that could be putting lives at risk. Britain's fire services are called out to over 20,000 kitchen fires every year. In fact, they make up over 2/3 of their shouts to domestic premises. These fires can burn out of control in an instant, causing untold damage and putting lives in danger. Something which furniture designer John Crawford became very aware of when a family friend was seriously injured.
She had unfortunately been very badly burned in a kitchen fire. She'd been cooking the dinner for her children, wearing a loose shirt, and her shirt had caught fire and spread very quickly. She didn't have anything in the kitchen, such as a fire blanket, and as a consequence, really, was very badly burned. I think it does strike a chord with you. It's a daily activity that we do. We're cooking the dinner for the children every night, and it does chime with you that that could very easily happen in your own home.
Spurred into action by what he'd heard, John went online to buy a fire blanket that could help protect him and his family. But what had appeared like a quality product online began to look very questionable when it arrived.
As I took it out of the box, it became clear that the packaging of the product looked a little bit unusual. And the immediate thing that jumped out was where you'd expect to see a manufacturer, a country of origin. There's nothing there. You start to read the text that's on it, and we have, if clothing is on fire, force victim to grout, rail instead of wrap in fire blanket. So there are immediately very obvious grammatical or English mistakes on there. Altogether, you do start to wonder if the product isn't right in packaging terms, is it really going to do the very serious function which it's designed for?
In Britain, there are no compulsory standards for fire blankets, but there is a voluntary European standard they can be tested to, and John's blanket claimed to meet that standard. If true, it would mean it had been proven to suppress a fire within seconds, and that the fire wouldn't reignite if the blanket was removed after 17 minutes. But there are some more basic tests the fire blanket must pass first. And the British Standard Institute's head of fire safety, Bob Wells, can tell it falls short at the first hurdle. And it's a fake.
On the blanket itself, you should have a label, rather like you'd find in a t-shirt or in your trousers, relating to the manufacturer's name, the manufacturer's address, and a model reference. As you can see, this product has no marking on it at all.
Failing to meet this simple requirement means there's no way the blanket would have been approved, and casts doubt on whether it's even up to the job.
I'd be pushing these aside and going for something perhaps a little bit more expensive, but I know it's going to work when I need it to.
Alarmingly, Fake Britain has discovered thousands of cheap fire blankets being sold, many making false safety claims. Whether they actually work is anyone's guess. To find out, later we'll call in the professionals and put a selection of them to the test.
We're just going to place it over.
Earlier we saw how thousands of fire blankets have been sold bearing fake safety claims with no proof that they're even up to the job. And if something does go wrong, it's your local fire service who has to come to the rescue. West Midlands Fire Service are one of the busiest brigades in the country. With over 20 years on the job, Operations Commander Steve Harris knows just how dangerous kitchen fires can be.
Quite recently we had a fatal kitchen fire, so it is a very serious situation. and we advise people just to get out and stay out and call us out to put the fire out for them.
But for the thousands who have fire blankets to hand and use them to bring a fire under control, they must at the very least be reliable and up to the job. So Steve's shocked to learn that there are fakes on the market.
If fire blankets turn out to be fake and don't do what they say they're supposed to do on the tin, then yeah, it could make the situation worse. Somebody might believe that they're using a genuine product to put a fire out, and actually it doesn't do the job. Makes the situation worse, puts that person in danger, and then we have to go into the building to try and save their life.
At the service's training base, Steve's getting kitted up to put a selection of 6 of the fire blankets we've found bearing fake safety markings through a real-life scenario. This mobile unit is normally used to demonstrate to the public just how lethal chip pan fires can be. Now Steve's firing it up to discover how this lot perform when the heat is on.
We're just going to place it over.
It quickly becomes apparent that far from protecting themselves, anyone relying on these fake fire blankets could be putting themselves in serious danger.
Clearly, that hasn't worked. It's still a substantial fire. That would have set fire to a kitchen now. You'd have a significant property fire. I can't comment on the European standard. What I can say is that doesn't work. That doesn't do what I expect a fire blanket to have done. The blanket itself has not cut off oxygen to the fire. So we still have oxygen, we still have heat, and we still have fuel, and we still have a fire. I would be very worried that people are selling these and the public are buying them, assuming that they will put out a chip pan fire. The advice from us is to just get out, stay out, and call 999, and then you're not in any danger.
5 minutes in, the fire is still burning, and the fire blanket's claims are clearly fake.
The kitchen would have been destroyed by fire by now. On average, it takes around 5 minutes for a fire engine to get to a property. This has been 5 minutes, we still have a fire. So it's worrying.
In fact, it takes more than 8 minutes for the flames to finally die out.
And something in this blanket has caused it not to do what it's supposed to do. And some of this is heat damage, as you can see. We would expect that from a blanket that's done its job. But this one has just gone very, very brittle now. And as you can see, it didn't do its job, it didn't work.
And disturbingly, it's not the only one.
Almost instantly, the flames broke through this blanket, and as you can see, there is still a seat of fire on top of the actual fire blanket itself now. So, in essence, the fire blanket has not done anything. I certainly wouldn't want to use that kind of fire blanket within my property, and I wouldn't suggest that anybody buys blankets of that standard.
Out of our sample of 6, 2 have been engulfed by flames and had no effect. But this test has taken place under more forgiving outdoor conditions, and having seen them up close, Steve's not happy any of these blankets could be relied upon in an emergency inside a property.
It appears it's a bit of a lottery as to which one works. You don't know whether it works until you actually need it. You can't test a fire blanket. You use it and it works or it doesn't, and that's too much of a chance for me.
We showed John Crawford, who bought one of these fake fire blankets to protect his young family, the results of this trial by fire.
I'm very glad that I did buy another blanket. It's quite scary, really, to see the intensity of the flames after the blanket has been put on.
By trusting his suspicions, John realises he may have had a lucky escape.
It's clearly quite dangerous what's being done. I think a good comparison is perhaps buying a car that claims to have airbags. By the time you have an accident and you realise that no airbags were fitted, then it's clearly too late.